Hello everyone, and I am proud to show this video. This is a video about Total Conquest, which is not a new mod for Rome Remastered. It's being developed by a modder named Commissar, and this mod was one of the first ones that came out for Rome Remastered. If you remember, I did a few videos on it when the game just came out, and I believe I did a stream with Total Conquest as well. But this version of Total Conquest, I have to say, is totally different. This mod pushes all the boundaries you could possibly push with Rome Remastered. It takes advantage of pretty much every single aspect that Feral Interactive has unlocked in Rome Total War. And yeah, let's show off a little bit of Total Conquest. So, of course, originally, the mod was fairly simple. It added a few new factions. It united Rome. It added Epirus, if you remember. It made Ptolemaic Egypt a little more like Ptolemaic Egypt, actually. It made things a little bit more realistic. But now, Total Conquest is a mod that adds 50 plus new factions. 50 plus. It adds several emergent factions. It adds several scripts. It adds the ability to form a new nation and then like switch control to a new faction, and then that new faction is like your formable nation. It adds essentially paradox mechanics, right? Campaign mechanics to Total War. It is pretty sweet that we get this. And, you know, the mod is work in progress, right? Not every faction has descriptions. The unit rosters are work in progress. I mean, look, if you add 50 plus factions, your unit rosters are going to be a work in progress for a while. So, you know what? Let's play as Persia here. So he has added Persia as an emergent faction. So, you know, the Parthians, they reigned for several centuries, right, in Iran. But then, of course, the Sasanian Persians rose up against them and usurped the throne from them, from the Arsacid dynasty. So this Persia is essentially, if I'm not mistaken, it's essentially the Persian faction from Alexander, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken. Ported to the Grand Campaign, and then you can emerge in Persia and, you know, rebel against the Seleucids or the Parthians or whoever. And that's pretty amazing. It, you know, it's just amazing. I don't know what to say. There's nothing else I can say about this. So, of course, actually, this is a good point. So I have actually added some emergent factions in Chivalry as well. So what happens is when you start the campaign as an emergent faction, you start in the corner here, and then the turns kind of go by year by year, and you wait for your campaign to start. You wait for your faction to emerge. Right? So that's actually what's going on right now. So if you play as, for example, the Crusader states in Chivalry Total War, you'll have to wait for a little bit because the Crusader states don't emerge until at least 1095. All right, so we are in the campaign now, and all these factions have been destroyed. Of course, these emergent campaigns, I quite like them because they're kind of like, I mean, the whole game is alternative history, right? But these emergent faction campaigns actually add a lot of replayability to the game, to any campaign. It's really, really cool. I implore you to check out any emergent faction campaign you can. And there are some in, of course, a vanilla barbarian invasion now. So, additionally, before we do anything here, Commissar has added so many brilliant mechanics into the campaign. So you have civilization level, and this is pretty similar to the way civilization level works in Imperator. So right now, my province here, Carmania, has of course, your starting position can also be kind of semi-random as well within a certain set of provinces, right? Like the Crusaders in Chivalry, you can start out in Nicomedia or Nicaea, and then the AI can start out in Antioch, Anavarza, or Edessa, right? So today, or this campaign, we're starting out in Carmania. Now, there's civilization level. If you remember, there is a civilization level mechanic in Imperator Rome, and this civilization level sort of determines, the governance level. It determines how or what kinds of cities, buildings, things of that nature you can construct in your provinces. And it works kind of similarly here, and of course here as well. When someone comes in and sacks the settlement, the civilization level goes down, and that is pretty incredible. That's a great mechanic, especially for 3rd century BC, 2nd century BC type of mod. That's the time period for this sort of mechanic. That's very nice. Additionally, Total Conquest already had this recent Conquest high tensions building, and then this building sort of eases up over time in terms of your income and your public order levels, things of that nature. Lock decisions. Removing this building will unlock additional decisions in this settlement. That's interesting. I'm actually not sure of what this is. There's so much to explore in this mod. It's really cool. So we've got, yeah, it seems like it's the Alexander units. It seems like it. Okay, so we've got Syrian cavalry, Scythed chariots, immortals, Persian peltasts, Karkades. And how about our general's bodyguard? Eastern general. Sounds good, sounds good. So we're neutral with the Seleucids. Interesting. So we've got to, and our king is Imanish of Susa. Interesting. Yeah, we've got to really improve this settlement. Okay, so let's go for, I suppose, local recruitment laws, because I'd like to be able to recruit some more units. So let's get our infantry together. I guess I'll keep the peltasts in the city as a garrison, and we'll go against these rebels. Oh boy. Whoops. Okay, so let's go against that rebel army here, and let's check out some of these units. There has been so much added to this mod. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it justice in this video. I have to stream it. I have to talk about it several times, and at the end of the video here, I'm going to also show you a future mechanic that is to come that I can't believe is going to be possible. But let me spoil it here. Trade nodes. There are going to be trade nodes in Rome Total War. Can you believe that? Okay. So let's take a look at our units here. Interesting, interesting. Yep. These look like the Achaemenid units. Okay, we've got our chariots. Yeah, looking good. Nothing really new to see here. Okay, let's get our immortals into a group. And our standard infantry into a group. I'll have the Persian infantry on the right and the Immortals as kind of a reserve. Yeah, I'll keep the Syrian Cav as reserve, and the Eastern General, I think, will do the heavy lifting here in this battle. Yeah, we'll have our general do the heavy lifting here, and perhaps the chariots too. And again, I have to say, I really like the look of the Alexander units in Rome Remastered. Rome Remastered really did a great job with the Alexander and Barbarian Invasion units, especially. The vanilla units are good in Rome Remastered, but those Barbarian Invasion and Alexander units, really nice. Mostly peasants here in this army, it seems, and some Eastern infantry. Ah, they've got Pontic Heavy Cavalry. Interesting to have Pontic Heavy Cavalry as a general's unit for a rebel in Carmania, but in any case. Okay, let's move our infantry in. And, you know, this is one of those mods where it's vanilla in style. And it really takes advantage of all of the Rome Remastered vanilla editions, right? So you have the ethnicity system, all kinds of things that only work if you're making a mod based on Remastered, work in this mod, right? And that's an important fact because there were a lot of things added to Remastered. Right, it's not just a graphical enhancement. There's the ethnicity system for a unit variation, as well as several other things. And so Chivalry, for example, can't take advantage of that until I actually get units that are based on Remastered type models and things like that. So Total Conquest has all of that already built in. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. That's good. We only lost a few troops. That turned out quite nicely. And if I'm not mistaken, the battle mechanics in Total Conquest are also pretty vanilla. So, as you saw, those troops routed quite quickly. Other mods, Imperium Surrectum battles take much longer. It's very difficult to break units compared to other mods. And Chivalry, it's a little more difficult in Chivalry to break units than in Vanilla, for example, but it's definitely not as hard as Imperium Surrectum. It's a very different sort of balance. It's similar to the balance you find in those realism mods by Jam, actually, for like Empire Realism, Napoleon Realism, and Shogun Realism, and Rome 2 Realism. Right? Okay, so good. I'd actually like to show off the campaign map here, because this is a modified version of Mundus Magnus. And it looks really nice. Like, it is quite a nice map. I think the Chivalry map looks pretty nice. The Chivalry map that I ported, I think it looks nice, especially with the textures kindly provided by Macagnane. But this map looks really good too, I have to say. It's a totally different style. So, again, this mod is not one of those super historical accuracy focused mods. This is a gameplay focused mod. But I have to say, it adds so many historical type mechanics that I have to say it feels very historical in a lot of ways, in ways that other mods, even mods that are supposed to be ultra historical accuracy focused, it oftentimes feels as historical as those mods, like in terms of what if scenarios, like, I don't know, a Persian satrap rebelling from the Persian Empire and establishing a Persian kingdom earlier than the Sassanids, or with the Parthians having not taken over Iran, right? Those are definite possibilities. So let's quickly go over some of the important new factions added. So I wish there was a Saka faction added, but that is not the case. Bactria is added, which is, of course, very important. Very important. Additionally, we've got a lot of factions in the West. So the mod is definitely very West focused, right? But, you know, we do have a Persia emergent faction. So a lot of factions like the Achaean League, right, have already died. We saw that at the beginning here. But we have Galatians. We have Sparta. We have Epirus, like we mentioned before. We have several tribes, including the Gotini. Who else do we have? Again, Gotini. Who are these guys? The Boy, right? You might remember them from Roma Surrectum. The Suebi, again, you'll know them from the Europa Barbarorum, right? We have the Cheruski. You have the Chauki. You have the Nervi, right? So you have the Namnetes from Rome 2 with their Rome 2 symbol, which kind of weirds me out. The Pictones. You have the Arevaki, right? So it's pretty incredible. One other thing I have to talk about is that there are very interesting civil war mechanics for the Romans, right? So you have the Optimates, the Boni, and the Populares. And these guys, there are certain counters in the campaign that build up towards civil war and build up towards how different the civil war is going to play out, right? How many provinces you're going to get. It's sort of semi-randomized. Really, really interesting. Really, really interesting stuff. And I haven't had time to explore all of it. It's such a huge mod. Now, I'd say, yeah, it's just pretty incredible. And Carthage has been split up into a few factions. Actually, you have the Hanonid dynasty, the Magonid dynasty. I forgot to show some factions in Italia, including the Etruscan League, the Insubres, the Veneti, right? So this mod is full to the brim with possibilities. Full to the brim. And I have to say, great job to Commissar. He's helped me out a lot with Chivalry. He helped me out with the Crusaders Emergent Faction script. And yeah, without his help, I wouldn't have been able to figure that out quickly. That would have taken a long time. So I have to say, excellent mod. This is a mod you must check out if you want to become familiar with all of the new possibilities that Rome Total War Remastered has added in the latest beta patch 2.0.4. If you'd like to download this mod, you can in the description down below. There's also a link to the Total Conquest channel on the Rome Total War community Discord, as well as Commissar's personal modding server. If you enjoy content about the historical Total Wars and their mods, subscribe to the channel and consider liking this video, and I'll see you in the next one later.